seem that I had my phone lock on and I wasn't able to do a horizontal feed. So here we are getting her set up in horizontal. Online, got the live chat. Did some video work today. Got a new video for the Indian rebuild series coming up for Sunday release. I got a primary chain video for shovel heads out there. And right now I just sat down for a little bit of an afternoon break. Hey buddy, how's it going? Welcome to the live feed. I jump on in the afternoons, do a few live feeds. I've been updating my videos. How's work going? You're supposed to be working. Make sure you like this video. Sick today. Oh my gosh. Give me a thumbs up, buddy. Not thumbs up for you're sick, but that's no good. You should do a live feed. How it feel? Maybe you did it on TikTok. I don't know. I haven't done any TikToks since I kind of backed off on the running, but sorry to hear you're sick, my good man Hayes. Yeah, right. Coban Spirit, good to see you. Another one in there. The new one this week is a short one, 1 minute, 30 seconds on just the teardown. You'll see the guides, the valves, the guides, and the seats. Didn't look too bad. It's just kind of interesting to see that stuff inside if you've never seen it. So I just posted it up. I think the video is 1 minute and 30, but I'm getting better with the editing software. So I'm able to do some better transitions and stuff like that. So does my feed look sideways today? I think I got that figured out as well. You there, Coban? Let me know if it's feeding horizontally. Just sat down for my break. Well, I don't know, whatever you call it. I'm working from home, so at least I am today. Awesome. That's great. Because I was trying to figure that out for my live streams because I'll do live from the shop when I'm working on stuff, and then I can film this way, and then I can clip that content and then use it for videos. So I got a few new ones in the series, and then regular scheduling for Saturday release, or Sunday release rather. And I do have a primary chain one for shovel heads for those 4 speeds, which would fall in Coban. You'd like that one. It'll give you some useful information. Try to keep them under a couple minutes long. Attention span isn't that long for me, so if I can keep them under 2 minutes, and you can just kind of check them, especially if they're a tech tip, you can just jump on, check them quick, and get some good information. That's kind of the goal of those ones. I might do some longer ones when it comes to the overall on the reassembly. I think some of that's going to look good. So tracked down a real cool tool today. It's actually in Ontario. It's around your area there, Coban. So if I got my no, I'm not. I'm working from I am currently not working today anyways, so bouncing around a little bit. I got stuff cooking at home, whatnot, so I'm not up to much, doing some videos. I got an engine for rebuild at home, which I've been doing a video series on. It's for a friend, but it's still some still regular work, and then a couple side jobs hopefully come together. But right now, just enjoying some time off, right? Other fella's actually out here. I've worked with him in the past, so he's living the dream. He's out here with me. He was here when I got here. Not a bad day anyways. At least the sun's shining and it's not freezing cold. We're not getting snow, although they're calling for it again. We'll see what happens, but beyond that, just a regular day. Get some stuff done around the house, see what comes next. I got a few irons in the fire, some prospects out there anyway. See what I want to do next. Just kind of working, taking the time off in between as a bridge, and really deciding what's next. Waiting for things to pick up a little bit at a few spots, but the bike shop, I was just doing some carryover work. That's not too bad there. They're busy. They got pretty decent operation of things. They've been going for quite a while, so inventory's good and some of the work's good. I had to do some of the older stuff that's just kind of in my wheelhouse. There's not a lot of the younger guys doing it anymore. Not even that they're not doing it anymore, they just never have. So when it comes to some of that older stuff that takes a little bit of time, yeah, appreciate that. That would be awesome. I am here. So yeah, between here and the bike shop, what gets turned away, they had some jobs that were left over there, older carburetor type stuff that really just eats up time. And I was doing those here in the new year. Just the snow didn't help. It looked like things were going to take off sooner. Looked like we were going to get busier sooner. I know I talked to some of my buddies back in Ontario at the shop starting to pick up there. They got 3 guys going full time, and that's just Harley. So here with the snow, there's still a lot of ice in the neighborhoods. Can't get out and ride, but I have got the shop set up real nice. Got the corner cleaned out, built some vertical storage cabinets. Last week I built a nice wood shelf and a few things like that. So it's all right having the time off. I was right busy till up till the new year, and then just kind of backed off when things changed up, and now here we are in the spring. It's been a long spring. Not homesick anyways, just home by myself, which is all right. Yeah, I bet. Well, I mean, if you can get to the road, it's fine. I probably would. You haven't been out this year, have you? How's your bike working? Should get you to join on live. We do a How Awesome Alberta. We could do a podcast live feed of how awesome it is to work in trades in northern Alberta, Hayes. Tell everybody that how good things are, how much money you can make. You been out in the field a lot lately? Oh yeah. Well, typing's good. It's going around. I know a few people in my house were sick. Buddy back in Ontario, he's real sick, but whatever. Yeah, so you're taking how many, you've been off for a couple days now, or you just, right? Yeah, pretty lucky. I can, it's not that I can afford to sit around, but I'm not worried right now in some way. Things will pick up. Breakup's coming. I think things will slow down. Yeah, I know. That field work for you guys kept you pretty steady. You were gone for some pretty long stretches, weren't you? I know that was the big game changer for me, was just field work, on call, way to go. It's just not, anyways, I had a few places I could have went to back, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Once the weather gets nice, bike shop will be probably something to pick up some bits and pieces, hours here and there, but I'll wait and see what comes. Like I say, I know you guys are pretty steady. Lost your main guy there, so you guys must be hurting. It's a long story. Shouldn't be a stranger. You're probably hungover from St. Patrick's Day. That's what it is. I just realized it. You're still got a 2-day hangover, probably down at the old Crown and Anchor there, drinking up some green beers, taking it easy. Yeah, no, that's good for you guys. I know breakup never really slowed it down. I don't know if you're doing any infrastructure. Oh, wow. Jeez, man. Yeah, you're pretty low key. You don't really get too carried away. I've always noticed that. It's not a bad way to be. Who did I talk to recently? I was saying for you guys are pretty busy. I think it was a friend. I think it was somebody else there that was at work. Oh, nope. It was Tool Truck. Yeah, I haven't talked to Trevor. I haven't talked to him once, I think, since I left, but it was Mac Tool Truck. There's Derek jumped on. I see it. I'm working from home, buddy. Living the dream. Doesn't pay the bills, but that's what the last 3 years of hustle did. Put a little bit. I didn't put any money in the bank, but I got some things paid off. So now, whatever, we'll figure it out. I got enough work, kind of bits and pieces. I put out the word. If anybody's got some stuff they want done for spring, I've got the shop set up that I can do at home work, engine work. Be nice to get some Evos, maybe some shovels for whatever. They're time burglars. They get into the shop and like they expect the optics from fixed ops at the bike shops. They want you to do 3-hour cam job in 3 hours, and then you go to take a shovel apart and you get, associated problems with all the silicone and the gaskets, and you're into 5 hours, probably at least a full day worth of work, but billable out at 3. And I know from running my own shop, that's a pretty hard racket to work 8 hours a day and only be able to bill out 4, even if it's at shop rate. Depends. You can't scale that. I mean, if I'm the guy that owns a shop and I got to do all the work, it's all right doing it on the side. I don't mind doing, yeah. Well, that's a big thing when it gets as the dreaded previous owner. So I love shovels, love Evos. I can do that stuff. And if I got it in my garage and I can do it on my own time, and bill fair, I'll get enough work. I mean, just, my experience runs deep and all that. That's my wheelhouse. I've been doing that for years, but it's kind of hard when you not really start over, but when you move that far away. I have, no reputation preceding me necessarily because I came out here without any contact really. So I just jumped on, just moved out, started at the dealership, the Honda dealership of all places. And now there's the Harley dealership, but I don't want to say it didn't end particularly well at the dealership there at Honda rather. But I did, like where we talk, but it wasn't. It's a lot of big dealerships are car dealerships with motorcycle shop problems, and that's where the fixed ops comes in, where they're looking at, why did you only bill out 3 hours today when we paid you for 6 or 8, usually. And then you're, having your feet held to the fire and you're justifying why it took you 3 hours, why it took you 8 hours to get paid for 3. That's always been the case. I've had that so many times. Gets frustrating. I'm at the point now where I just, it is what it is. Yeah, and that's really where it's at. Appreciate that, Coban. That's 100% it. I came in late and early for this year from the heavy equipment side, so I got the word out. I'm between bikes right now, and I'm doing a shovel at the main shop, getting that thing dialed in, but it had those shovel problems, and it had been touched by 2 or 3 different places, and it's a custom build. It's an awesome, pretty chill, like cool bike. All the things are there, like it's right, but just to get it dialed in, when I went to work on it, the nose cone had been pulled off and the push rods hadn't even been backed off. So when you get late model guys that are used to working on twin cams where you can just pull off a cover and then, look inside at the tensioners, well, when you pull the nose cone off that supports the cam and then everything tips down. So, for example, this one, they bring me out a box of parts and said it needs a top end, and I was like, oh, why? I don't see anything other than this was taken apart wrong. So I got it back together, put it back together, back to push rods out, set everything up, you know, turned it over. It's a dual plug head. It's got some squeeze. Put the proper, changed away from those little plastic relays that are under the battery box, put a proper old style Blue Streak starter solenoid in there, so all the voltage goes to the starter. Somebody put a new starter on. They did some good work, but those old bikes, they got little points where, you know, guys that have done it like myself for years and was shown by a guy that did it for longer than me. I think they were actually 4-plug stocks. It had like stock castings, and they were 1200 up. So I don't think they definitely weren't marked STD. I think somebody actually went to the trouble, and there's a lot of great mechanics out this way, just with that closeness of the school and some cool stuff going on for sure. Just this one had gone through a few hands, and when I finally got to it, so I was able to get it running. It didn't need a top end like originally thought, but you know, to my credit, I wasn't looking for any pats on the back, but I sure didn't get any, because like I said, that's the optics, and the third party shop or whatever, aftermarket shops are yeah, 100%. So the aftermarket shops that do any making any model, when they touch on these older bikes, and they're just money pits. They suck up a lot of time, and if you don't have the right guy or somebody that in the shop that knows how to go about it, you just won't get them back together right, and you're still going to spend 8 hours working on it to get for 4 hours pay. It's all right if it's a side hustle, guys working from home, overhead isn't as high, he's still going to bill good. I mean, I don't think I'd bill that much less than actual shop rate for race use from home, and be able to do the same kind of work for what I end up taking home for a week. All I got to do is work a couple hours a day from home to make that kind of work. So, and outside doing some consulting, some online business for calling, product support and different things like that. So you can piece it together. I mean, I'm older. It's not like I'm starting out and have to make a bunch of money like my kid. He's moving towards trades while he's doing how Alberta's program works. So he's pursuing welding. I wanted him to be an electrician, and he was maybe capable of it, but he's a really good welder and he enjoys it, and we're in the right spot to weld for pipeline for sure. So he can make some bank, and maybe another 2 or 3 years out, once he's kind of dialed in, I can set up a fab shop and start paying for some of that equipment. I got a real nice line on a actual Sun and pin hone, a full size smoking deal. So I can do big ends, I can do honing cylinders and all that type of hands-on stuff like you'd see the old guys doing back in the day. Now Southwestern Ontario with just Apex covering from Rockies, and even when Rockies, yeah, oh nice, that's what my boy's gonna do. He's just turned 18. He's going that direction. He's got a apprenticeship started. He works half his day at a structural steel. He's gonna go that route. So between that or pipeline, but he's been welding in schools, and you know, and he's good. Like I can weld, not with a ticket. I could TIG weld. I did some fabrication, and you know, I got no inclusions. I can do some, but it just not like him, boy. And when he said he really wanted to weld, I'm like, man, I followed my passion. That was motorcycles. That's what I started. And you know, there's days. That's right. There's days where I'm like, I wish I had chosen a different career or listened to some of my older guys. I don't know if you remember Northern Eagle Cycle, particularly Coban. I think he's down in Wheatley area running that oil and frame Triumph stuff, but he used to always tell me to get into banking. He said, wear a nice suit every day and be surrounded by people that are, you know, that have bathed at least. It was an old running joke, right? So, I probably should have, but I didn't. I got to do what I enjoy doing, which is working on bikes. So here we are, and back in the thick of things. It took me a few years to get set up. Once I got here, it was expensive enough to move, in that little bit of, yeah, I'm going to probably do, I don't got, right? The side by sides, haze, and quads and stuff. I don't really have the room. I think I could, but I'm gonna stick mostly to the bike side of stuff. I got enough of just Harley specific. I can do it, but run anything by me. I can say yes or no. It's always good to have leads. So yeah, I do the old shovel carbureted, easy electronic ignitions. I can break down electronics like madman, CAN bus from all that new 3-wire sensor and thermistors and all that's always been in my wheelhouse. Like I made a real point of getting good with electrics and electronics and carburation. So that's where most of, well, they don't even really touch carburation on anything new, obviously. And some of the aftermarket shops, that's where the struggle is for the young mechanics. You got a guy that's, 20 to 25 years old working on motorcycles up here when you got it seasonal and you're doing a lot of side-by-sides or quads for off-road stuff. They haven't even seen carburation. So points, forget it. I mean, even me, like I'd still update to an electronic ignition, but if I can do like carburation, boy, I can rip through that. Yeah, and that's 100% it. If you don't have diagnostic software, and the shop I'm at has some to a certain degree, they have a license for it, but you can plug a tuner in and get a power vision with the power tune and kind of let it dial itself in. It's like a plug and play. I mean, you're gonna spend a couple grand, but what was it in days gone past? Camshaft and if you went and put an S&S Super E carb on, you didn't really have to upgrade your ignition, but I used to put those Crane HI4s in with the adjustable rear cylinder. I take them or leave them. Adjustable push rods just add weight. If you got stock length cylinders and you can take the lids off, you can put your stock ones back in with tappets, but make sure you put new tappets in when you do it. But you're still going to spend $1,500. Yeah, they're bricking them now. That's the big price. And then so in the old days, you still spent, the 25s and 26s. I think it's all OEM. Like you said, they're fucking bricked, and it's just the way things are going. And for today's rider, it makes more sense. The bikes come with more power than they ever had, and they're pretty dialed. So for reliability, I don't even care about warranty. Yeah, right. Making a nice setup on an early, get a nice solid Evo. Any of those FXRs, man, I had 3 FXRs with 80-inch motors. 60, right. Flashing ECMs. It's like those satellite cards that we used to get for the TV, and every 3 days they'd flash them, and then you'd have to get your local guy to burn them for you. So I like the new stuff. I think it's fantastic. I think there's lots of great technology, and if they get it dialed in, the price is too high for me, but I think that's just everything. Maybe we're getting older. I mean, like I was complaining about the price of ground beef yesterday, but for the new bikes, it's a rolling mortgage. I mean, there's guys out here that got them. They're everywhere. Guys that have them everywhere. I shouldn't just say here, but when you're looking at 45 to 60 grand dialed in, I mean, that's a serious commitment to having a motorcycle for new stuff. And if you can pick up like a lot of that, I don't know, Dyna stuff, late 90s, early 2000s got run through pretty hard. And then you got guys that all want to stunt that stuff, which is, I mean, do what you want. It's brings new guys into the riding scene, but it's more influencer stuff than it is actually experience or voices that have been in the industry for a while. So, right, like look at that. Those 131s, we got 2 of them, man. I got one in the shop. Well, not me, but there's one in the shop with a melted front piston. It's brutal, man. I'm like, that's a brand new bike and it's melted down, man. Like it got ruined. So I don't know. Like I can build a good shovel. I can build a 96-inch shovel, 96-inch Evolution, that 4 5/8 stroke with a good bore. Do some. Even if you went and spent the money, get some CNC headwork done, slap put a G carburetor on it if you want. I mean, 2-into-1, whatever pipe. I ran a lot of 1 3/4. They're obnoxious, but they work okay. And when you're on the pipe, just giving her hard, and that stuff works real good. So here we are. It's just, it really depends what you want. I'm tooling around on this old Indian stuff now. I don't know if there's a niche for it necessarily, but it sure brings me a lot of, easygoing, you know, pleasure in that kind of nostalgia way. Like, this thing's a 70-year-old engine. So yeah, that they're good. I know Quebec's really were all the, even Umatech for crate engines for the sleds. You can get an exchange for, and we do a lot of sleds out here, man. Like I still haven't had to necessarily, but it's easy. You're not, doing cranks and disassemble and then build ups. You just buy a bottom end, a short block, a long block, put the head back on, make sure it's not warped, and flip the engine out. Like the Skidoo BRP Bombardier dealer out here keeps 2 engines in stock for backups, man. When I worked on Arctic Cat, like that stuff isn't sitting, not like back east. I always joked and called them slush creepers in southwestern Ontario, because you didn't really get a lot of snow unless you went up north and then you had to trailer everything. But from here, man, we got so much snow. You can head out to Tumbler. We're an hour from the mountains in BC, Dawson Creek, Fort St. John, all that up here in the mid-range Alberta. Like, you guys, when there's snow and they got money, they don't sit, right? You got guys working 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out, 8 days on, 6 days off. They pay, they play, they work hard, and that's sled season. So it's not like, oh, well, I can sit around and wait. No, these motors, the dealerships have some in backup, so they can do, and if it's, everybody wants a new sled so they can carry warranty. It's the same with bikes. At least you get the same with the new stuff. If you're running an old bike, you got no warranty, you go out there and you cook your engine, it's going to cost you, I don't know. You used to be $3,500 was a modest price for an Evolution rebuild, and you're going to reuse your cylinders. I see the Ultimas. Yeah, you get the, yeah. Well, here we're getting, with this year we probably got 3 or 4 solid months with the shoulder season, with guys can go further north, so they do still have to trailer them to go a little bit longer. But man, the Crown land use out here isn't restricted. Like, you can camp and live on Crown land for free. I think it's $100 license or an annual fee, but like literally, if you want to chop wood, you can go down to the city and get a permit, and they'll tell you which lot to go in that they're clearing, and you can have all the wood you want to chop for $15. If you want to live in a 3 seasons RV and you want to park out on Crown land, they ask you to move it every 2 weeks so that you don't disturb the undergrowth. But you can literally pull off in the summer and take your quad out, take your side-by-side out, go down to the river. Nobody's going to bother you. Not like, Christ, if you were in Ontario and you went to the, there are a lot of provincial parks, but there's a lot of Crown land towards the north, but, there'd be one fire road in and one fire road out. Like, man, you can go for days and days, and it's awesome like that. So it's a different, when it comes to the recreational side, the power sports side of things, it's definitely a better place. Not a better place, but a good place for it. Motorcycling specifically, it's niched down even a little bit further than, say, and it's the same, like, you can ride your bike if you're lucky for 6 months of the year, but only 3 or 4 of them are going to be really good. And if you're just riding on the weekends, some weekends you got to go to a wedding or cut some lawn or do some shit around the house. You're really, not getting as many rides as you think you're going to get out of them, and then take that away up here. So trying to, it's interesting that the best programs for the motorcycle mechanics across our country were situated here just a little bit north of me, including Harley with the Dealey stuff. It's fairly unique, but it wasn't like this is the mecca of motorcycling, even for our own, even for Canada. Like, you get out to Vancouver, more specifically, Squamish, down to the Sea to Sky Highway, and down on, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And ride, you could ride year round. You're gonna get some rain in the winter for sure. Jump over to Victoria on the ferry and get some nice weather, but by comparison, So what are you left with for riding time? But so working on bikes to make a living is, I always used the analogy, like if you took the setup to the Dragon's Den and said, hey, I want to open a business and I want to, they're like, oh, that's great. And you're like, how are you going to make your money? I was like, well, I'm going to work real hard for 3 months. And then for 9 months, I'm going to, hopefully make enough in those 3 that I can keep the lights on and, do some bits and pieces. I mean, if custom bike building made money, then everybody would do it, right? First guy that tries to build a ground up, I mean, you're probably into 45, 60 grand if you buy a roller. And that's big money. It's not Orange County choppers. It's cool stuff. It's not West Coast chop. All that stuff is niche. We have to understand that side of things. So, people say, oh, I'm going to build a custom bike. Yeah, that's awesome. I think, yeah, please do include me in on it. I'll do some work for you. I'll make some money off it. But you're going to be, $60,000 deep on, remember all those wide tire bikes that came out in the late 90s? Harley was at its peak, and then you got the Titans, and then Easy Rider had those. Yeah, right. That's 100% the truth. It's even in the 90s when Harley was at its peak, guys were spending money hand over fist. Dennis with Northern Eagle there in London specifically, I spent a lot of money there myself. I worked for him for a lot of years, and then really before that, that's where I got. Yeah, I did a 360 rear tire Malibu Motorcycle Works custom build for a guy. He bought the roller. He was all right with money, and by the time we had the engine ordered, we did a 96-inch Evolution from S&S with a 6-speed right side drive to clear it. Man, it was into 30,000 just in the parts list. We hadn't even had the fender mounted yet. Crazy stuff. That's the thing. Now you can buy an Ultima motor. You can buy a 120. You can buy a 114 or whatever it is, Evo style single cam with electronic ignition in their version of the S&S E-Carb for, I don't know, you could probably get a dealer that would sell you one for 55 to 6. I was doing some work on a Merch motor before I left, setting that up for one of the local guys down London way. Still worked out of Stratford. I had a machine, thrust washers in, built the crank. That was 3 years ago. Yeah, ultimately, you look into it, it's interesting. I think Jerry himself is on the East Coast in New Brunswick. I follow, that was Ultima. Yeah, I was thinking Merch. Sorry, between the two. Merch, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, real nice. So the flywheels I had, as it turns out, were some real early castings. They were cast in Lethbridge. I talked to Jerry specifically over those ones, and I got some videos of me actually truing them. Yeah, Ultimate. Yeah, it is. Hey, Derek, they're done. That's wild. That's wild. I mean, it's a pretty clear indication of where things are going or where things are. I mean, Ultima had a pretty good program put together. I know they were kind of working with Merch, and they had some bad bits and pieces. It's unfortunate, whatever, however it works out, but big picture stuff. It's nice to be able to keep some of this older stuff going, but I don't know. I like this Indian. It's pretty fun. Gustav will be happy when this thing gets dialed in. I got some tooling, different things that it's going to cost me a little bit of money to get that going, and then I'll see what pans out I got about 2 more weeks before I really got to get serious about finding a real job. Finding one that issues a T4. So we'll see what happens. That's kind of my plan at this point. It's the engine's apart in the garage. I'm going to split the cases, do the crank, and order up some bearings, get everything ordered at once. I thought about dipping back to Ontario. You can get flights back, but that doesn't help me out much because I'd want to haul some stuff back. Interesting. V-Twin picked that up, eh? V-Twin manufacturing just eats up stuff. They're so big. It's good. It's good to have those vintage places that'll do that, because you'll still be able to get, production, repop, shovel head parts and panhead parts and, you know, engine cases and cams and nose cones and bushings and, you know, I know Sonex bearings are all bearings, but you still got to get them from somewhere. So if you get the old Preston book, I don't know if Larry, I haven't talked to Larry himself, but I've dealt with Preston a little bit in the last couple of weeks through the shop to get some parts, and they're, you know, some of the stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And so Preston still covers that stuff, and he'll bring the V-twin stuff up into Canada. So he's kind of the outlet for that. Mid USA was doing some good stuff. Western Canada, I don't really know. I haven't really been in right up to my neck in the game out here since I got here. Like I said, the Honda shop dealer, yeah, they're real good. Kadowski Larry has always treated me good. When I had the shop in Stratford and got set up, he was one of the first suppliers I had, and real small booking order. It's the same with some of that aftermarket stuff. You know, you always complain about the being made in Taiwan or Chinese or whichever, but it's gotten a lot better since the 70s for sure. That's one of the things is we got to keep our mind open on that stuff. So really, I mean, like, the cost of everything's expensive. I priced out an EV27 and Andrews cam through Drag Specialties. Suggested retail on an Evolution Andrews cam was $379. No, $479. I got the paper around here somewhere. My cost at like shop cost, dealer cost, was what I used to sell them for and make 30%. So, I mean, I'm not here to complain about the price of stuff. That's not the case, but it's just the real part of what's going on. So, you know, you got to expect when you take your stuff to a shop that has I don't even know what shop rates are right now. I think they're in that $130 to $150 range for the aftermarket, probably. Dealerships, I don't even know. I haven't looked at a dealership, motorcycle dealership service rate at all. And again, I do know I worked with a guy that bought a brand new trike from the dealership, and he wanted to move his handlebars back because the geometry. Yeah, okay. There you go. So that's right what I figured. It hasn't changed a whole lot. Hourly rate hasn't gone up much, but the cost of living's definitely gone up, and the cost of parts has picked up a little bit too. So back to the trike was that he wanted the handlebars moved back just a little bit, and they told him it was going to be 3 hours. But the salesperson had said, "Oh, no, we'll make sure that we look after you for this one." I was like, he brought it. I'm like, 3 hours? For what? Like, I mean, if you're ham-fisted enough, you could probably just yank them back out of place. But that little plastic cover, you don't even have to pull the ignition switch out. You can take the 4 little torque screws out and pop your plastic, get a ball end, a 6-inch ball end in there on your 3/8, and loosen the screws enough to just pull it back and then tighten it. And once I got it snugged up, I know, well, the dealership was like less inclined. I said, well, don't pay 3. And then when I did the job, he goes, I'm going to go back to the dealership and I'm going to complain about that. I said, please don't. I said, because if you go back and tell them that I did it, I said, you're probably going to void your warranty. And I said, and then I won't, and then I'll be on the designated list of guys to not deal with. And, you know, so it's no surprise things are going in some direction, and you get smaller guys that are doing some work. And again, it's that influencer over experience type thing. So I do some videos through YouTube. I'm not trying to be an influencer. I'm not like, you know, Weird Al, who's the guy from Fred Mervich downtown Toronto with, you know, selling everything, crazy sales, you know, not trying to be a clown or an influencer. It's more just like documenting these are the details. This is, you know, experience. Sometimes I got to remember that I can't talk monotone when I'm trying to do, you know, what it is. So you're trying to, it's good to have a following, be able to get that information out there. And it's easier for me to send this video to the guy that I'm doing it for to say, hey, look, this is what I found, than instead trying to be on the phone, because everybody wants documentation. Like we use Lightspeed, the dealer management software. Lightspeed, it's great, and you can send emails and pictures directly to your customer. I can just talk to text and say exactly what I did. Set push rods, adjust carburetor, inspect primary, set clutch, 3 oil changes, add relay, like just talk to it and it'll just put it right on there, and then the service writer can pick that up, or if somebody calls they can just go on another terminal and tell the customer, because they want like real-time updates for the same kind of money. They want more because that's just the way it's definitely cool, and you kind of got to stay ahead of that, because I know when I worked at Zdeno's, Al used to say to me, Jeff, you got to write more. If you got to charge $1,000, he says, make sure you have more information, because if you just put like one line, rebuild top end, $1,000, guy's going to lose his mind. You got to put like disassemble, inspect, check ring end gap, grind ring end gap, install piston pin, size bushing, install, adjust, if you want your $1,000 without any issue. And now you got to add to it, if you're not getting, a time frame, which is great. But if you keep the updates live, you don't even have to call the guy. He can just log on and kind of see where his, you're not giving him the shop work order, but you can definitely give access to stuff like that. So it's different and better in that way. I think overall, that's definitely a positive, but we'll see what, when I work with Greg, and some people remember him, he's passed on, that was my journeyman styles, would say, man, just turn the calendar back 30 years, 40 years. Like I've been at it for 25 now. I've been journeyman in 99. I think I got my red seal. And that was like, I think whatever age I was born in 73. And that's exactly right. And I love showing them. That's the biggest thing. My weakness is over explaining. I'd sit and talk to people all day just like this. And then I'd have to work from 6 o'clock at night till 9 o'clock, or come in real early in the morning. That was fine when I quit drinking. I could get up, but when we were drinking, boy, it was hard. You'd never get anything done and be shooting the shit. So that was good. It's still good. And it's just what you make of it. So, biggest thing is that I don't have to over explain, show people, be like, oh, this is why, your engine failed. As you can see here on the piston, you got some pre-ignition, or you got a little bit of a heat spot there. You blew out your head gasket and you can see the groove it cut. So we just keep, just keep learning new stuff. And when it comes to the real new stuff, like you say, the ECM's being bricked, and I don't know, somebody will find a workaround for that eventually, or maybe, but really that's even smaller market of people that have like 65 grand. And if you can get it done through the dealership, give it with warranty, and they'll do it whatever they need to do to make it work. I mean, they're just financing anyways. That's really, this is a branded experience when you go to the dealership. They're not trying to sell you, they need to sell you a motorcycle, but they really want to get you, techno research, but you can't get into a 2005, a 25 or a 26. I don't think, I was talking to Jay about that, and I do not think you can get, they got a workaround now for the bricked ones. Well, that's good. Because that's really what you're looking at is just, but Harley, I say, get back to that idea that the dealerships they're selling a branded experience. They're selling the t-shirts and everything that goes along with it. And that's great. People complain that they're not supporting the culture necessarily anymore, but you have to remember, things evolve. They created the culture. I mean, shops were the thing back in the 70s, 80s, even into the 90s. We all experienced it. There's still shops doing it. I know you're doing it there, Derek, with Jay at Revolution. You boys got solid operation going. And just doing Harleys. You're not doing sleds on the side. You're not doing quads. You got 3 good guys, 4 good guys, all licensed, all experienced. And, it's not, I mean, it's okay. You're still seasonally going to be slow in the winter, maybe even laid off a bit, but it's really what you make of it. I spent 3 years working in heavy equipment, 2, 3, and last year, I was crazy busy. Yeah, that's awesome. Coban, those boys chatting are out of Revolution. They're solid. That's where I came from. That's my crew. Those boys are the guys. Those guys are the guys. So my it's not to brag, but I was dealing. You can make 2 years worth of pay in 1 year in heavy equipment and only be a second year apprentice. So I don't know. The shops out here pay, like dealerships and aftermarket pay motorcycle mechanics like myself a good hourly rate up in Grand Prairie north, and I'm 500 kilometers north of Edmonton. Edmonton doesn't pay that kind of hourly rate, but they're still pretty decent. Alberta's trade rates are a little bit higher because they are competing with heavy equipment. And 100%, I did it for 3, and I'm not a spring chicken. I got myself into a couple of good spots that weren't as hands-on, but there just in the new year, I went and did some CVIP commercial vehicle inspections on a bigger fleet, and it was all disc brake trailers, and torque for the caliper is 400 foot-pounds, and there's 6 bolts to hold one caliper on one side. So every time you did a caliper, you're in with a 8-foot torque wrench, 3/4 drive, trying to pull 400 pounds, like you're almost bouncing. And then all the wheel nuts, if you're doing a tridem, is 10 or 12 nuts per wheel. I forget, I think it's 12, whatever. But they're 500 foot-pounds each, so it's 2 guys when you're pulling those. So yeah, you're gonna burn up your body pretty quick. And I the last couple of weeks I've had off, I've just been to kind of recoup. I spent the last full year, I was distance running. Like I did 4 half marathons last year. I was running 5K a day at like my 30-year pace. So good for me, whatever. But yeah, right? Like you're doing, yeah, exactly. I've had to have the overhead crane on bolts with a snipe and then stand back and press the button while you're watching the chain, and then the thing's curved before it'll go, putting heat to it, man. It's wild. I did some pretty, so we got to do some sketchy shit to get the bolts off on some of that heavy equipment. And then a lot of that was on road that I did in the spring here. But before that, we were dealing with frac equipment. So it was off road, and the V12s, the 3512 Caterpillar had made 2,000 horsepower. It was a V12, man. Yeah. Health and safety. There's always a warning. They're coming. We know. And they take their brunt of it. But I mean, that's the honest to goodness truth, right? In the blue collar, it's like, oh, we got health and safety and all this boilerplate and books that you got to sign that say you're not going to do that stuff. But when your feet are to the fire and you got to get out there, I mean, oh yeah, I've worked by myself. We got some, had to do some things that were marginal just to get jobs done. But like almost every day, you're doing something that you're just like, oh, that wasn't particularly great. So yeah, before I torched my back, like I'm in good overall, knock on wood. But yeah, like how much are you willing to give up now for gain to give it up later? So like I said, the last couple of weeks, I've really just been, I haven't been floating. I've been doing videos, learning how to edit that stuff. I got that motor at home. So it's things that I've been meaning to move in a direction. Just spent almost an hour here on the live chat, shooting the breeze with you guys. Appreciate it. It was super cool. I don't know who hasn't clicked the like button, but there's 3 people watching. I only got 1 thumbs up. YouTube will give me some kind of credit for being on this long. I don't know. But yeah, it gets the word out. And it's kind of remote for shipping stuff. So I don't expect to see a lot coming up this way. But you don't come up here to retire. And everybody's thriving and doing good. So, I probably 5 more years with my youngest kid before she gets to university. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. And yeah, so before she's hitting university, the boy with trades and welding, he actually has some designs of his own to maybe go work overseas, and I hope he does. I really encourage my kids to get out and see the world and do that kind of stuff. Things that I didn't do when I was younger, maybe a lot of us didn't. Things were different, but it doesn't mean they have to be the same. So yeah, I'll see what happens. I'm gathering up some steam here, say in the next 5 years. I don't think you'll see me back in Ontario specifically to work, or necessarily move back that way. Although I do miss the Great Lakes, as much as I never went there. Southwestern Ontario is pretty fantastic when it comes to that type of stuff too. It's not the big sky like we got out here, but we're landlocked. There's no fishing. My kid's like, Dad, let's go fishing. We looked. There's some, but it's not the same. So, you know, it's give and take. But again, I didn't come here to retire. Came here to, you know, whatever. That's a whole nother couple hours of shooting the shit, but it's been good. So we're enjoying it. And say once the kids kind of clear that, my wife is a little bit younger than me, so she's my retirement plan. I tell the kids I work with, save more than you think. And I wouldn't have saved any more. I spent as much as I needed to get where I had to go. Enjoyed a lot. How's it going? Rambo 14148. Yeah, well, that's almost what it's going to have to be, but at least if I can scale back in the cost, it's not so much the cost of living, it's those fixed costs, like the housing was way less expensive. So for 400,000, I landed in a 5-bedroom house with 3 bathrooms. Don't tell anybody, but that's how it works in this specific part of where I'm at. So, you know, my place here in Ontario, London or Kitchener, it would be $1 million. We know that, and that's not to brag, that's just the facts. So when we sold out of the hot housing market in Ontario and packed our bags and got back out here, not back out here, but came out here, I was in here in 96, got our spot, said, look, like, you know, I didn't save enough. I'll have to work till the end, maybe, but at least in the short term, you know, with a couple weeks off, I'm not like, holy smokes, dipping into, you know, deep into the overdraft or whatever you want to say to go forward. That's just me being transparent. I enjoy it. Kind of, not that I'm doing what I want, but I am doing what I want. And I'm a mechanic, so if they want to pay me more to be a heavy equipment mechanic in the short term, the optics are different. There's nobody saying, especially when you work on fleet or rental, it's just like, I don't have to call a customer. They're just like, no, that's a fleet truck. Make sure it has good brakes. Yeah, they're 70%. We'll keep running them. But if they're 60%, you know, they got hard cutoffs. They're not dealing with like, oh, well, maybe, I don't know, can we save some money? It's just like, no, in heavy equipment, whatever it takes is what it takes. So when some places are a little different, especially when it comes to OEMs for dealerships. If you're dealing with like Peterbilt, Freightliner, Western Star, International, in agriculture, you're going to get into that. But there's enough heavy equipment jobs where you're dealing on yellow iron and you're not working for Brandt, or you're not working for Fittings or one of the big operations like that, where you're just like, you know, their shop rate $180, service trucks going like crazy. You're going to go out and work for, you know, 55, 65 bucks an hour and get benefits. I mean, you only have to work 6 months of the year. I know guys that do it, guys that will spend 6 months, work through winter, breakup comes, pack everything in, put it in a corner, and go live on Crown Land for the summer, skip out, go to, you know, Thailand for a couple months to start. There's all kinds of options like that. You got to have money to do it. You got to make some, and you can. But yeah, so I like it out here. It's all right. I got an extra room. I always told a couple of those guys that are licking in there now, I'm like, come out for a visit. I'll put you up. You don't have to find another job. You don't have to pay me any rent. Just come on out. Check it out. It's cool. It's good. Right now it's slow. Oil patch is seemingly slow. Pipeline might have helped. It doesn't make a big difference. Those holes are forecasted and drilled in advance. It just depends which companies get. It'd be nice if they did open LNG, because we're sitting on shale up here, which is some of the nicest, you know, cleanest gas you can get. And that's what Grand Prairie is. It's just a big a shale field. And it's, you know, they're going to need it forever. So there'll always be work. We're far, yeah, we're not too particularly close to Fort Mac. Like you got to go, I think 4 or 5 hours to the northeast to get over to Fort Mac to work. But here, like they'll do transient, like there's 70,000 people live here. And when things are going good, you're easily at 100,000. So we got a Costco, we got the largest single floor Canadian Tire. There's a bigger one in West Ed, but it's 2 floors. We have the largest 1 floor Canadian Tire is in Grand Prairie. Big deal. But yeah, so there's good things going on here, spending money, building, whatnot. It's the same, you know, I think just right across the country. It's expensive. Can't get out. I can't get, nobody will, I thought I was going to get down to Texas a little bit. Last year was one of the outfits I was working for, but it didn't come through and things slowed down. So, who knows? Yep. Who knows what 5 years brings for the future? Be exciting to see if, you know, things just keep going as it is. Like I say, my wife's a little bit younger. She's doing, she works in the school, an EA, education assistant. A lot of jobs that are volunteer through the public school in Ontario, they pay for out here. So, you know, she got her summers off, and it's the same. I can work hard in the winter and slow down in the summer, which used to be the other way around in the bike world. You never got any time off in the summer because you really only had 3 or 4 months to make all your money. It's all perspective. So, well, I think I'm going to wrap up the live. It's almost 3 o'clock here. Kids come home from school. I'm going to chill like a villain. Coban, good to see you again. Derek, I don't know if you're still on there. Thanks for the likes, guys. Appreciate it. I just kind of ramble. Feels like somebody's listening anyways. I don't know if you are. Easter parade. Read my email. My wife will laugh. Thanks, Derek. Appreciate it, brother. You too. I'll jump on here as we go. You are wrapping it up for the day. Jay, text me about the shovel for the oil pressure. Tell him to, I think there's a grub screw on the front of those S&S pumps. You can just take it out and put it right in there. There should be some S&S oil pump installation books if you still have that big pile of stuff I left behind. You guys probably collected some more, but you'll see in there where to put your actual oil pressure gauge instead of putting it on top of the lifter sifter. You can put it on the front of the pump, put a remote one up. That would be my recommendation. You could probably just put a pressure sensor in there with the light up to his dash, and then if there's no pressure, the light just comes on. Shovel trouble. Wouldn't have it any other way. That thing's going to be good when it's done. That's a solid, I love Ken's bike. I don't know if I like the Pogo with the shocks on the back. It's a different setup. I've seen a lot of guys do it that way, but hopefully that, you know, I know Ken's doing a good job. We're still riding that old girl, and he's no youngster. Yeah, I know, right? And he's no youngster himself. Ken's got to be, well, I don't know. He might be 70, I guess. Yeah, I think that's the best spot. I know Dave's got a couple shovels. I thought about coming back. Like I said, you can fly back for $400 round trip right now on off days, which is crazy. There was guys flying out of Ontario. Yeah, exactly. He's old. There was guys flying out of Ontario working the 8 days on, 6 days off with me because flights were so cheap. They were making more money to fly out here. The companies were putting you up in Airbnbs, giving you a living allowance. And yeah, it was crazy here two years ago. It's still good. But yeah, I thought about coming back and then either loading up one of those U-Haul crates and picking up 2 shovels or 1 good Evolution, because I do want to ride this year myself. And I thought I was going to get an XR 1000. There's one for you. And I still kind of would like to. I don't ride enough, so I got to have something that's just not what anybody else has in those XR1000s. I know where there's a couple, and either that or I know Dave's got some. I think he's got one later pan, but I don't want to. I don't want. I don't want a 62 or 63. Yeah, I know. I looked at one out of BC too, but I kind of, if I'd like a shovel, there's just a little, just rare enough that, and I can do the work that for the amount that I want to ride it, it'd be good. Or the XR1000. That's just, it is what it is. Pan, I don't have that kind of money. I thought I was going to get maybe looked at an Indian, an actual one for myself, short of the one I'm rebuilding for Gustav, but we'll see. Yeah, Parker there at down in Hamilton. I forget what he goes by. I remember I seen him at Freedom 5 when I went there. He does some pretty cool shit. He's got his stuff real neat. I got enough leads for some good things, but I want to buy two and bring it back and then sell it. But cost of shipping is not crazy, but the cost of just buying. I know where there is okay bikes, but nothing out here. Yeah, it's good. No, I got a few. I looked at a few out here, but I don't know, unless I could find a 2000, 2001 standard electric glide. Brampton, he moved. He was down south, I thought, before. He's up in Bangladesh. I don't know if you can say that on here without getting kicked off. But yeah, that there's a lot of good shops, still kind of cool stuff going on in southwestern Ontario. There's a few out here too, I know, but like, anything north of Edmonton just falls off. After Dark is in Edmonton. I know him, or did at any rate. Yeah, I know one of his closer friends from years ago. And then there's dealerships. I think there's some stuff into BC, but again, it's just there's not a lot of riding going on for the custom side of things. That's not what I'm looking to get into. It'd be nice if I was closer to shipping, and then I could do some of that in more specific crank building on the early style, like 5-piece cranks. I mean, there's guys that can do it. They did it at Revolution. Boys did that shovel that we were just talking about. That was I did the full rebuild on that one. The guy rode the wheels off it, and he and had the rod bearings just started to kind of got enough wear that came apart, so they just finished rebuilding that one. 5-piece crank. There's not many people. I shouldn't say there's not many people doing it. There's definitely people that can, definitely people that shouldn't, and they can and should there, and the whole setup's right. So even I got all my K-slaps. I can size pinions and size big ends on connecting rods if I want to go oversized and fit it all by hand. That's still best, plug test, drop it on away like that. So I make some of those old videos. I have to go watch my own. I can bring it back up. That's handy. Some of them I make them, I'm like, well, somebody's going to need a picture of like this camshaft, and then they'll find this video and they'll at least be able to compare it to something. There's just not a lot of that out there. And the guys that did it are gone, or just could, they don't have the same kind of drive to put up some video or whatnot. It kind of comes in drips and drabs. But again, it's that idea of if you want to be an influencer, you flash your face out and do all kinds of crazy stunts and stuff to get attention. But if you're just flying under the radar, it's like letting your work speak for itself. That goes back to the idea of reputation. So I don't struggle with it. I burn a lot of bridges because I don't put up with shit. And that's gets a bad reputation for that. But it's always because why did it take you all day to do that? And I'll be like, man, it should have taken me 2 days. You're lucky I did it. I'm pretty good. And I shouldn't say it like that because it's boastful, but sometimes that's what's come with wisdom is with age for me. It's just like that quiet. I'll just do it. You complain all you want, but when it's done and there's no comebacks, I've had that conversation before with service managers or shop owners to say, they're like, oh, it took you too long. I'm like, yeah, but what's my comeback rate? And that usually ends the conversation because it's, there's always going to be comebacks, but it's not like comebacks. This thing is coming back because it's blown up or you did something stupid. So, that's reputation. Let your, work speak for itself. You don't have to be an influencer. And I'll post those videos up as we go along. I'm going to sign off. It says I was on here for 65 minutes. That's awesome. I really enjoyed it. It's actually almost therapeutic in a mental health sort of way. Feels like I'm talking to somebody that's listening. Just like when I go to the therapist, but I got the room set up, I can do this and then check my email and just kind of clear my head out and give some thoughts on stuff. And we'll get some more videos up. Appreciate it. Thanks for the likes. If you're there, Co-Man, hope you're doing well. Always appreciate the conversation, inside information. Derek, Jay was in, all the guys. Revolution, that's a good spot. If anybody asks, remember that they're still doing real work there. Harley guys picked up some dealership guys. James, the owner, and James, the owner, and I were out here in 95, 96. He's the owner there, and we worked together when I was in Stratford, and then he's got a real nice operation, and it's good to see the real guys doing that type of stuff there still. So, all right, I'm gonna click end, and I will appreciate it. It was awesome, and talk to you guys later.